Hi, thanks for joining the Wilderness with Amani. I'm not going to preach to people and say this is what they should do. This is what I like to do. I fished at Big Bear Lake a lot, and whenever I come here, there's always tons of trash. And it's not that bad this time. I only got one full bag of trash. Usually what I do is I put a few trash bags. I used to use the grocery bags. I just throw those in there, but they're not available in California anymore, so I just buy these 4-gallon bags. And I keep a roll of them in my car. And I just put a couple in my fishing pack. And what I do is I walk 20 yards that way, 20 or 30 yards that way, and just pick up all the trash. I don't pick up broken glass because it shreds the bag and it's a disaster. One thing that's really discouraging here is there's just tons of bunches of line where people just pull the line off their reel and throw it on the ground. There's beer bottles in here, there's energy drink cans, and I'm not going to waste my time telling people they shouldn't litter, because anybody that's just throwing this stuff on the ground, I don't think you're going to reach them. Even though there's a garbage can right up there, there's a garbage can, I can see it through the tree right there. And yet still people decide to throw it on the ground. I like to get all this fishing line up, especially when the water line goes down, because birds and other wildlife can get all tangled up in it. And you know, when the fishing gets better here in the wintertime and in the early spring, February, March, I can sometimes fill 3 or 4 of these bags. And the reason I do it is Big Bear Lake is a lake that's fairly close to the city urban areas, and it's a nice place to be able to come, and it's got really good trout fishing at certain times of the year, and you get some really nice fish, and it's a nice place to go and have a nice little wilderness experience, and it's a drag if there's a bunch of trash. So I figure if I pick up 20 or 30 yards that way, 20 or 30 yards that way, the next 5 or 6 people that get to come here, assuming they're not the ones throwing the trash all over the ground, then they'll get to have a nice clean area to fish, and it'll be a good experience for them. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not saying you should carry trash bags. I'm saying that's something I like to do, and maybe it's something you'd like to do too. I usually don't touch broken glass because it'll rip up my bag too much, and I don't touch anything that's a biohazard, and you can just use your imagination and figure out what that might be. So sometimes you find some really disgusting things, but it's amazing. When it's busier here, you'll see people will leave like wine bottles, and it's not like an accident. Like some of this stuff, I found a Monster energy drink, I found this Red Bull can. It's not like people just forgot that it was there. It just looks like they just drank it and threw it on the ground. And I don't know what goes through someone's mind when they do that, but it's a total drag, man. So thanks for joining me with Wilderness with Amani. If you feel like throwing a trash bag in your bag when you go to an area like this that gets a lot of traffic and you want to pick up some trash, it's a good thing. And if you can get those balls of line off the ground, it's really good. It's good for the wildlife, basically. So thanks for joining me with Wilderness with Amani, and hopefully we can all have clean places to fish.